それではお時間になりましたので、基調講演を再開いたします。欧州委員会研究イノベーション総局総局次長、シグネ・ラッツォ様をお招きし、健康医療イノベーション、欧州連合および他の他の世界各国にとっての重要分野についてご講演いただきます。ラッツォ様は2018年から欧州委員会研究イノベーション総局総局次長を務められておられ、2022年から2023年にかけては総局長代行も務められました。また世界の科学者の国境を越えた革新的な共同研究への支援などを実施するヒューマンフロンティアサイエンスプログラムにおいて、AMEDの三島理事長とともに理事会のメンバーを務められておられます。So, Ms. Signe Ratzau, the floor is over to you.
Dear Dr. Mishima, dear guest speakers, dear participants, it is a great honor for me to be here to celebrate together the 10th anniversary of AMED and also to speak to tell you something about the research and innovation of the EU and the activities of the European Commission. Now, I will first look back to 2015 and then we'll look forward. I will speak about multilateral cooperation in health research and innovation, particularly our cooperation with AMED, but then also about health research in our framework program on research innovation Horizon Europe, and finally what benefits association to our program would bring. So first, looking back. In 2015, the European Commission was represented at the AMED launch, namely our Director for Health at the time, Dr. Dragia Akli, brought the address of Commissioner Carlos Moedas at that time. Commissioner Moedas was a strong supporter of the openness of the research and innovation framework programs to the rest of the world. And he was actually the one who was behind our new association policy, namely opening up our programs in addition to our neighboring countries, also to our global partners in the world who are excellent in research and innovation, but also with whom we share our values. A bit more about that later in my presentation. So it was just the beginning of our previous framework program, Horizon 2020, and now we are already in the middle of the next framework program, Horizon Europe, which is actually the world's largest collaborative research and innovation program with a budget of around 100 billion euros over 7 years. Here you can see the photo of our new commissioner who was appointed together with the College of Commissioners last December, Commissioner Ekaterina Zakhareva for Startups, Research and Innovation. And one of her priorities continues to be open in our collaborations and even reinforce international research and innovation cooperation. Now coming to health research. 2 years ago, back in 2023, we asked European citizens to ask them to name the most important research and innovation solution that would help them in their lives over the next 10 years. And you can see the result in the screen. So in the middle, the two most important areas of research and innovation being health and energy. Now, why is multilateral cooperation in health research crucial? Here you can see two examples. COVID research, importance of R&I in COVID was already touched upon by previous speakers, and indeed COVID-19 pandemic taught us that a better preparedness may help all countries to cope with the management and the consequences of an epidemic or a new pandemic. But then it's not only about the pandemics. Diseases are equally important, no matter how many people are affected. Rare diseases, for example, are a clear example that only by cooperating on a large scale, it's possible to reach a decent number of patients and to be able to treat accordingly. The EU, together with several partners, including AMED, are part of the global research collaboration of infectious diseases preparedness, CLOVID-R. Well, certainly WHO as well, as we will have Sir Jeremy also speaking later. So it was launched 10 years ago, and it has already proven its added value. CLOVID-R enables the coordination of research funding, most recently for the mpox response. And it also drives our ambition to do better as research funders. For example, in support of research data to be accessible and reusable, or for also stronger coordination of clinical trials, which was also touched upon previously. AMED has been a much respected member of CLOVID-R, and we would warmly welcome the continuation of such close engagement. Previously, I also mentioned rare diseases, and indeed, this is another multilateral network which brings together different partners, and rare diseases cooperation has long been recognized as a field where the EU, together with its international partners, have been crucial to the progress achieved. So over the last 20 years, we have invested more than 3 billion in collaborative research through more than 550 multinational projects on rare diseases. And certainly it has brought together not just the research funders, but also the industries. Here you can see the current members. This is really a long list. It unites 64 partners from 23 countries globally. So there are national, international, governmental, non-profit funding bodies, companies, patient advocacy organizations, and scientific researchers. And here again, AMED is a valuable partner. The European Commission, together with the US NIH, was the driving force back in 2011. But in addition to that, now we also have the European Partnership on Rare Diseases, which is a recently launched partnership, co-funded public-private partnership with the European Commission and national and some regional research funders, coming from the EU member states, but also from countries associated to our program and further. So it already involves more than 170 organizations from 37 countries and has a total budget of 380 million for 7 years. So we really need to do more in collaboration here, and I'd also like to invite also countries, international partners like Japan, also to join the forces here. We, for instance, already have Australia as a partner, Morocco, and also Switzerland, which is about to be associated to our program very shortly as well. Now, with AMED, we've also collaborated as hero members at the heads of international health research organizations, and there will be the meeting this summer in South Korea for hero. And I'm particularly glad that I've also been able to collaborate with the Japanese and also other members, the G7 members who started Human Frontier Science Program Organization back in 1987. at the call by the Prime Minister of Nakasone at the time, and Japan has continued to be its strong supporter. Now, together with President Mishima, we are both members of the Board of Trustees for that organization. And here I'd like to mention one of the initiatives of HFSPO, which was started at the initiative of the European Commission, namely the so-called the Science for Scientists program to support Ukrainian researchers. Well, 3 years ago, when the war of aggression of Russia against Ukraine started. And then this support has enabled the now already 31 Ukrainian researchers to join the fellowships of the fellows of the HFSPO. So what next on R&I cooperation? I already mentioned the areas in where we've collaborated with AMED. Now I'd like to highlight two additional areas, namely climate change and health, which I don't think has been mentioned before today, and also cancer. And cancer indeed has been already mentioned by previous speakers. Now, why climate and health research? It's undeniable that climate crisis doubles as a health crisis with devastating human, social, and economic consequences. For instance, in Europe, we have seen that too often with destructive floods, severe drought, and extreme temperatures. So we really need to address the issue comprehensively with a range of transdisciplinary actors, approaches, and instruments. And here also the climate and health research comes into play. I already know World Health Organization has been also one of the driving forces there, but also on the Commission side, we are very much supporting that. We have already provided funding of around 700 projects in this area, and in the current framework program Horizon Europe, we have dedicated more than 150 million euros to climate and health research. Now, last February, we also hosted a large conference in Brussels to identify the main research needs and gaps in the field of climate change and health. And with the input of more than 400 stakeholders, we started to prepare a strategic research and innovation agenda on this very topic. And this work has continued since then. Currently, this agenda is under consultation, and we plan to publish it during the first half of 2025. So here we really see program-level cooperation between funders on climate and health, and also concerted action to address the common challenges faced in different parts of the world. Now, coming to cancer, as part of our program, we have a specific mission on cancer. On the slide, you can see its objectives. And here again, we'd like very much also to promote cooperation with like-minded countries. We've already started, for example, with the US. Now, Japan also has launched a comprehensive 10-year strategy for cancer control, which has research and innovation at its heart, as we also heard earlier today. And the main pillars of the Japanese strategy resonate very well with the objectives of our cancer mission. And I'm also glad to announce that the EU Cancer Mission will organize a session at the Osaka Expo on the 20th of June 2025 in the EU Pavilion. So I can already promote that to be there and to participate there. And I also believe that it would be an excellent opportunity to bring the cancer mission and AMED together to discuss the respective priorities, showcase ongoing initiatives, and identify also areas for potential collaboration. And here you can also see why, indeed, we need, why it's really very, very urgent to really mobilize everything then we can do also in terms of research for that. And finally, in terms of the collaboration with AMED, I'd also like to mention the collaboration that we do have with the health emergency preparedness response of the European Commission. There have been working arrangements, and actually tomorrow there will be also the discussion, the colleagues will meet and discuss further collaboration. Now, let me also say a few words about our framework program on research and innovation, Horizon Europe. As I already mentioned, the largest collaborative research program globally. We are proud that today we can count participants from 182 countries of the world. So you can really see that the program is global. It also covers from the fundamental research via the European Research Council, which is the laboratory of Nobel Prize winners, to innovation via the European Innovation Council. But more than half of the budget of the program of this 100 billion euros, plus also contributions from associated countries, is spent on collaborative research. Collaborative research, which is funded, which is expected to deliver on certain topics with predefined goals, but it's still based on excellence. So it's still very competitive. This pillar consists of 6 thematic groupings, which we refer to as clusters, but there is also very close integration and synergies between them. You can see that one of these clusters is for health, but actually you can also see health in the cluster, in the ERC, as well as in the innovative cluster as well. So here, the main objectives of health research is namely aiming at improving and protecting the health and well-being of citizens of all ages by generating new knowledge, developing innovative solutions, and integrating, where relevant, also a gender perspective to prevent, diagnose, monitor, treat, and cure diseases. With Japan and with AMED in particular, cooperation is crucial at funding agencies level, which I spoke about earlier. It's also important to know that the possibility exists also at the project level. And therefore, I invite Japanese researchers, maybe with the help of AMED, to look already at the existing possibilities through the work program 2025, which we will publish in April, but also not forgetting the opportunities through Innovative Health Initiative, which is a public-private partnership funding health research and innovation. Now, I mentioned that our program is global. So basically, the participants from all over the world can join the consortia, but the closest form of collaboration is via association. What does it mean? It means that the governments of the countries which are associated to our program pay directly into our program, and then the participants can directly also receive funding from the program. We already have 19 countries which are associated to our program, In the past, they were just from the European neighborhood. Now, I'm really glad to welcome the UK back to our program as of the beginning of last year. But we also have the neighboring countries in the east and from the south, the Western Balkan countries, Ukraine, for instance, also Turkey, Israel, as associated countries. But this year we have Republic of Korea and Switzerland joining our program. But as the so-called transitional arrangement is already in place, they can already join the consortia for the calls that will be for the work program of 2025. So now we really cover 5 continents with our program, and we started also at the end of last year formal negotiations with Japan. So now, what are then the benefits? I already mentioned that the researchers, but also the companies, because the program is also open for the companies, particularly via the partnerships, public-private partnerships, can apply directly to the program. They can be not just members of consortia, but they can also become consortium coordinators, bringing then together the members from whichever countries, provided that there is just one EU member state and then 2 from the EU member states or associated countries. Then they will have then access to almost all calls under the second pillar, which I described before, which is the collaborative pillar. And they also have the Japan, if associated to our program, like other countries, will then also have observer status in the program committees as part of Horizon Europe governance, meaning that being in the program committees, then the countries also have the opportunity to direct participate in the direction of the program in the future. As said, I'm really glad that we started the formal negotiations. Then tomorrow and the day after, we have the round with the Japanese colleagues here. If the objective is to finalize the negotiations, if everything goes well by the time of next year, so that Japan can already participate as an associated country from the beginning of next year in our program. There are still 2 more years until the end, because the framework program runs for 7 years, from 26 and 27, but this agreement also gives the possibility to be associated to the future programs, because, well, we do have the programming cycle of 7 years in the EU. Now, why it's also important, I'd like to refer to something that Dr. Mishima mentioned earlier. In his speech, he mentioned the concern that young researchers from Japan fall out from international collaborations, and also that there is the tendency that they leave the country. Association to our program actually has a solution for that. Namely, the Japanese could then be part of international collaborations, not leaving their labs in Japan, because then they can continue to do their research from Japan, but they will be already part of this big multilateral consortia. So certainly this is something which would be a particular advantage also for Japan. So many thanks again to President Mishima, to AMED for the kind invitation to this 10 years anniversary. And certainly also I'm very much looking forward to the future collaborations, hopefully then already also as part of our program, in addition to everything that we've been doing also internationally. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Signe Ratzau, for the great presentation.